everybody and welcome. Today we're going to discuss 9 trends for fall. So get yourself a drink, maybe a coffee, a matcha. Let's dive right into it. The first trend we're going to discuss is probably the most obvious one for this season. 70s boho style meets 90s grunge, trading the quiet luxury aesthetic for a clash of patterns and textures, but done in a very cohesive way nonetheless, with an almost undone, very nonchalant je ne sais quoi that's added to all of these looks. It's about mixing those vintage-inspired flowy pieces, loads of earthy tones, loads of printed patterns, and grunge influences like perhaps your tartans or your oversized sweaters, all layered over your favorite denim. The idea is to combine the free-spirited vibe of the boho style with the edgy, slightly rebellious touch that the grunge vibe is going to bring to it. Chloe is definitely at the forefront of this trend, I would say, with Kimena Kamali's new take on the designs for the brand. This trend encourages us to kind of like play with layers and textures and patterns, like pairing a printed maxi dress with a chunky knit, or perhaps mixing patterned scarves with oversized jackets. But overall, I would say the combination feels very organic, effortless, and sort of full of personality. Today I took a page from this book and kind of made it my own. Full-on satin cord set. It's just trousers and a corset top. But then I paired it with this very large oversized suede jacket. I could have gone the extra step. I could have gotten more perhaps layered necklaces or something like that. I did go for 2 large pieces when it comes to my bracelets. But then again, that's what I love about fashion. It's just your interpretation of a trend. You don't really have to follow it like step by step. I would say it's more about looking at the trend, looking at your own style, and then kind of making it work for, you know, your everyday needs, your aspirational outfits, and then just making it your own. Once again, on the maximalism train wagon, although this particular trend focuses more on the construction of the garment. Oversized trousers, oversized denim, oversized jackets, oversized blouses. And when I say it's all about the construction, I mean that the way these pieces have been sewn and the way these pieces have been maybe woven makes for a very sort of stiff and structured silhouette on the outcome of the outfit. With this trend, more is more. So wearing the structured top with the structured trousers is totally acceptable, but my stylist heart wants to desperately tell you to perhaps just pick one piece and pair it with something that's a little bit more body conscious, so the outfit would be more balanced. I mean, in my opinion, it might be a little bit more harmonious to go just for that one extra structured piece. Then again, as I always like to say, you do you, I do me, and then we'll all be happy. This trend's all about embracing those structured proportions, and I feel like adding any of these items to a look gives your total final outfit a bit of a more polished aesthetic, I would say. You can definitely take the look in many directions. You could go casual chic, you could go streetwear style, you could go a little bit more office polished, you could even wear this to a little bit more formal events. But when it comes to this one, I think it's crucial to pair them strategically so that the entire silhouette can look a little bit more harmonious. Here's a styling idea with a piece I actually own. I have this very same H&M jacket, which, let me tell you, by the way, it fits beautifully. And I could easily go for a pair of structured, perhaps barrel denim if I wanted to really embrace the trend. But personally, what I would do is switch the barrel for a straight leg trouser and either opt for a pair of ankle-hugging leather booties, or I could also do a very like thick kind of chunky type of moccasin to help counterbalance the weight on the upper part of the outfit. I love this jacket. It's current season. It's beautiful. Every time I wear it, I feel like super polished. So I'll make sure to link it below along with everything else I'm mentioning on today's video. Fun fact, I was the biggest Pirates of the Caribbean fan. It was my go-to costume whenever we had custom parties or Halloween or stuff like that, and we would play dress up with my friends at the time that the movies were coming out. I was completely obsessed with the whole crew. I mean, I might or might not have sent a birthday gift card to Orlando Bloom at the time, only to learn later that he received something about 800 cards a week. I might have fallen in love with another man on the meantime, but my love for the pirate aesthetic never really went away. So I do have a pair of booties that are actually knee-high in a very soft kind of leather, but if I slouch them downwards, I can easily recreate the look that this trend is proposing. So I'll definitely be jumping on this train wagon. I have actually worn them like this already, so if I find a picture, I'll make sure to include them in here. I remember I wore them that way when I was in Milan on a brunch trip a couple of years ago. Anyway, that does not mean that I don't have my eyes already set on a couple of pieces on the market right now. Slouchy boots give a very relaxed, sort of nonchalant, effortless edge to an outfit while evoking a certain sense of Roman mixed in with adventure, I would say. They work beautifully with both skirts and dresses, but also with oversized trousers, I think. The slouchiness makes them comfortable, makes them pretty versatile, I would say. They kind of give an off-duty vibe to any sort of look. Unless you want to pair them with a really nice sort of tailored two-piece suit or a very nice well-cut tailored dress, I would say these ones are a little bit off limits for the office. But then again, I feel like recent years offices have tamed down a little bit on their dress code. So if your office accepts them, I would definitely say you can live on this one. The upcoming fall. This style has obviously been in fashion before. As we know, trends are cyclical. However, contrary to the past, when we would perhaps pair them with skinny jeans, I would say now it's all about pairing them with flowier pieces. Like a flowy A-line midi skirt, and perhaps at the top you could go for a short sleeve turtleneck in your favorite knit. It's a slick envelope handbag to pair with the whole look. Or if you want to embrace the pirate vibes, why not go for a very large sort of slouchy tote as well. Now, if you're a little more daring, I would say that shorts, a white blouse, and an eye patch. Okay, perhaps not the eye patch, but hey, sometimes the classics do really work. If you think of a pirate's chest treasure, you'll most definitely be able to picture a mountain of coins made out of gold with a couple of pearl necklaces draping over them. I just somehow feel like the trend-setting committee got together this year and was like, let's bring a little nod to Pirates of the Caribbean this fall. Now, when it comes to pearls jewelry, I personally have my eyes set on this set from Tiffany's, which I shared with you on my luxury wishlist for 2025 video a little bit earlier this year. But I also love a good pearl necklace moment. I think even with something like what I'm wearing today, a medium-sized pearl necklace in here would look super cute. Extra points if it's a family heirloom, but then again, there are so many pieces on the market. Pearls are timeless, effortlessly chic, and they're a wonderful way to elevate any look. I would say they usually add elegance and kind of like whimsy vibes to our outfits. However, on this particular occasion, they're being paired with different outfits in a more, once again, slouchy, slightly undone, kind of like nonchalant type of vibe, which honestly, I'm loving. In my particular culture, we grow up wearing pearls all our lives, but most of the women in my family, like most of my girlfriends in South America, everyone will wear pearls all their life, and they'll start by getting very tiny ones, and then as time passes they'll change the size of the pearls they wear to a little bit larger until they get their adult pearls, and then those are the ones that they wear for their entire life. And I think it's such a beautiful tradition. I kind of feel like embracing it again. So I might have paid a little visit to Tiffany's to try on their pearls and see what size of the ones they propose would work for me. Honestly, think about it. I mean, you have an oversized blazer, a cami top, a nice pair of barrel jeans, and some animal print ballet flats, and that will work. But then change those ballet flats for a more formal pair of shoes, and that would work anyway. They will work for going to bed, they will work with your pajamas, they will work whenever you're wearing a bikini. They will just pair beautifully with whatever you're wearing, and I think that's part of the beauty and the allure of wearing pearls. You can wear them every day, no matter what you're dressed like, and they'll always look beautifully. But then if you have any sort of really formal event coming up, what I would advise is wearing something like what I have in here, which is completely strapless. And then you can put like a 2 or 3 row pearl necklace, leave the chest area sort of uncovered. That would give such iconic old Hollywood movie star vibes. Also, whenever we're wearing white pearl necklaces, the white close to the neckline instantly lifts the face. So if you're wearing a color that's not normally suited for your color palette, but you add a white neckline, that can be through a white t-shirt or it can be through a white pearl necklace, it's going to instantly bring a little bit of extra light to your face. And yeah, that's a nice little tip on how to wear colors that would normally not really favor you, but that you really appreciate and perhaps sometimes you feel like wearing. This one ties in so nicely with the trends before, and we've been seeing it a lot the past couple of years. However, this particular season, the offer on the market is so large. I also personally really enjoy it because as a Latina, ponchos are a big part of like our national garment. So anything that's poncho-esque and kind of like ruana, a little bit of wool draping over the shoulders is definitely up my alley. Capes and draped coats are, I would say, essentially very versatile pieces that will add a lot of movement and a lot of drama to an outfit, particularly when the days start getting a little bit colder and the coat is basically the entire outfit. The draping brings elegance, the fabric and the warmth makes us feel all cocooned, which is what we all love for the fall-winter season. There's always that touch of like extra effortless vibes that we're seeing across so many of the other trends on the catwalk this season. I also think that the fluidity on these pieces makes them adaptable to both casual dressing and formal occasions. A really easy one would be pairing one of these draped coats over a turtleneck and tailored trousers with a little bit of a thin heel for a very sophisticated city look. For embracing this trend, you could either go ahead and purchase one of those already made draped coats or the coats that come with the incorporated scarf, or you could go ahead and grab your favorite coat from your wardrobe, take it over to the shops, and then purchase a scarf that's large enough and wide enough for you to be able to drape over yourself in the same color as your coat. Extra points if it's the same material. It's hard, but I've done it myself. I've been personally applying this technique for years, and I think it looks just so chic and effortless, and it brings a lot of like elegance and movement to all of our looks. I honestly think it is such a chic way to accessorize. Picture 2012. You know the coats we used to wear in 2012? Well, you might as well just dust them out because they're back in fashion. And not just that, we're seeing faux fur absolutely everywhere. We're seeing it on shoes, we're seeing it on handbags, we're seeing it on obviously stoles and scarves and those kinds of accessories. And we also saw it a lot in the catwalks being used around trimmings. So like on the trimming of a skirt or the end of a coat or something like that, which I think is giving such Cher from Clueless type of vibes. And I'm honestly not even mad about it. Come to think about it, Clueless might have as well been one of those subjects that the trends committee was discussing about and that put on the table when deciding what trends would be in fashion this season. Cowhide offers visual texture and earthy tones. I feel like it sets the mood, it sets the palette for an outfit because it's obviously so colorful, while still adding a natural and kind of like almost tactile element to any look. It works beautifully in jackets, in bags, in boots. I personally have a pair of ballet flats, which I've worn absolutely non-stop. What's beautiful about this trend is that you can embrace as much or as little of it as you wish. So it's very easy to dive into that maximalist road and go in for a total look, or perhaps just add a little nod to the trend with just an accessory. I also see this trend as one that has a little bit of an approachable vibe to it, but that might be just my South American side speaking, because in Uruguay I grew up seeing cowhide being used a lot for, you know, making handbags or perhaps carpets for the house, obviously for a lot of like jackets and clothing for women. I don't know, but to me cowhide will always bring cool girl vibes to the table. What I like about it this season is that it doesn't necessarily have to be reserved for the countryside. You can totally do this in the city. Perhaps pair a little mini skirt in cowhide with a long sleeve ecru turtleneck, and that would give off a very sort of sensual, refined approach to the trend. But then again, if you want to go total look, why not pair a full-on trench coat in this cowhide print, a nice pair of barrel denim, and some pirate boots underneath or ballet flats to tie it all together. And for those of you out there that are that little bit less daring, or that your style is just a little bit more pared back, you can go ahead and do like I do and wear just an accent piece. If you want to embrace the trend in a more subtle way, there's a myriad of things out there. There are so many bags, so many belts, accessories, shoes, and different things with the cowhide print. Even phone cases, I purchased myself and I'm still waiting for it. A lovely sort of cowhide phone case. I love updating my phone case whenever a new season comes up, and I haven't done so now in about 9 months. So I think it's high time I got myself a new one. Tech accessories are always a nice idea to embrace trends in a different and unexpected way as well. This one is one of my personal favorite silhouettes of the season. There's little things I find more chic for autumn than a nice sort of very flowy A-line skirt, voluminous type of skirt, paired with tall shaft boots that will get hidden inside of the skirt. Once again, a very pirate-inspired silhouette. I swear, my pre-teenage fantasies took all over the catwalk this season. They're proposed in such a vast array of materials, but I personally love them in a very thin wool because that's going to add warmth, but the thinness of the fabric, it's going to allow for movement and that fluidity while we're walking, which I think is what creates such a lovely sort of visual effect to the outfit. Easily pair them with a turtleneck and a belted blazer if you want to borrow something from the countryside. You can also casually wear them with your favorite crew neck sweaters with a millennial half tuck, or you could lean into a little bit more of a layering silhouette and pair them with one of those half zipped sweaters and the shirt coming out from underneath. That will give off the ultimate preppy sort of off-duty type of vibe. Last but most definitely not least, just like we were saying with maximalism, fashion tends to do that, you know. A couple of seasons ago, we were all over the micro bags trend. And now ever since that trend peaked, bags have gotten increasingly larger. And this season, we're seeing them get extra, extra, extra large. The shelves of our favorite designer boutiques are filled to the brim with extra large type of handbags, and I'm personally loving it. I'm considering getting perhaps a hack, you know, like the travel version of the Birkin. I think that would be so nice, but I risk breaking my bag because I'm certain I'll fill it to the brim and then yeah, that might be a little bit too heavy to carry. Bags like this were once known to us as pieces that we would wear only when traveling or perhaps heading to the gym, looks like that. Well, this is your new work bag. This is your new going out with your girlfriends for brunch in the weekends bag. This is your new running groceries bag. Once again, they tap on that nonchalant vibe that we've been seeing across so many trends on the catwalks this season. So a lot of the proposals on this particular handbag are going to be very slouchy and relaxed. For styling them, I would say don't be afraid to mix them with your more tailored silhouettes if you want to bring a nice point of focus and interest to a look. Suede leather or no-book leather makes for a great medium to bring this kind of slouchy effect to life. I love bags like this also in soft leather, and I have a couple of them in my collection, which I've worn non-stop the past couple of years. So I guess this year, I'll just continue wearing them, and this time I'll be in trend. I honestly have so much more I could tell you for bags for fall. So I'll make sure to bring my annual fall bags video very soon to you because there are so many good options out there. This theme deserves a whole video on itself. It's also my favorite accessory, so why not talk about it entirely for one video? Let me know which one was your favorite trend and if you'd like me to do another trends video, because there are actually some other ones and we could dive deeper into them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and you know the drill. If you're not done, I'll leave you 2 more in here so you can binge a little bit more, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!